Prime Minister Skerrit to visit Dominicans in Houston affected by Hurricane Harvey. Cabinet Secretary Steve Farrell addresses concerns surrounding the health status of Honorable Ian Douglas and a controversial move to remove Jason Fontaine from the La Plaine-Laronde Village Council. I am Idona John Baptist with the Channel 5 News. Back with the details after this.
The government of Dominica and Discover Dominica Authority invite the world to the most unique and indigenous celebration of Creole cultures, the World Creole Music Festival, October 27th, 28th and 29th at the Windsor Bank Sports Stadium, Roseau, Dominica, featuring Marshall Montano, Movado, Sweet Mickey, Itana, Roman Virgo, Glass, Yemi Alade, Kai, Zuko Stars, Bungie and Fayan, Triple K International, Ace Manton and more. Visit the DominicaFestivals.com for more information. Say Musicanu!
First up, Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Steve Farrell has cleared the air on the health condition of Honorable Ian Douglas after inaccurate reports by an online publication. The Minister for Trade, Energy and Employment traveled to Cuba on Saturday for his annual medical checkup and was not medically evacuated as was previously reported.
Last week, Minister Douglas was indeed not feeling well and went to the Portsmouth Hospital, where he was examined by a doctor. A number of tests were prescribed for the minister to have undertaken the following day. The government of Dominica then took a decision to make arrangements for the minister to travel to Cuba, where the test that began at the Portsmouth Hospital could be completed and then to proceed with a thorough checkup. Minister Douglas was not medically evacuated, as has been suggested by one electronic news outlet. There was no ambulance involved. There was no doctor or nurse who accompanied Minister Douglas. He walked to the aircraft on Saturday, which flew him directly from Douglas Charles to Cuba.
It's not clear when the Portsmouth constituency member of parliament is expected to return home. In other developments, Dominica's Prime Minister to visit Dominicans living in Houston to explore ways in which to assist them to restore their lives to normalcy.
Prime Minister Skerrit has expressed empathy and solidarity with the government of the United States, more particularly the people of Houston, Texas. The Prime Minister says Dominicans can identify based on past experience with Erica.
We know very well in Dominica the extent of dislocation, the extent of damage these natural disasters can cause. As a matter of fact, just almost exactly 2 years ago, we suffered a similar fate. When I look at the thousands of families that have been affected, it really touches my heart as a world citizen. And I know that we have several Dominican families resident in Houston. I have had the opportunity to reach out directly to some of them and to express our concern and indicated to them the willingness of Dominica to assist where we can.
The Prime Minister says he expects to reach out to Dominican citizens to have a fundraising drive to assist Dominicans affected in Houston.
Just looking at the stuff on the news, it's really touching. And speaking to Dominicans who've been affected, who had to be rescued by small boats and public authorities, they recounted to me the loss of their homes and all their belongings, their homes flooded completely. I also have American friends who are resident in Houston, whom I have spoken to. They themselves have had to be rescued and indicating that they have lost everything. Some of them recently bought homes. So it is really a tragedy, and we want to express our solidarity with the President, the government and people of the United States, and of course the governor and the mayor of the city of Houston. It's really tragic, and we want to reach out to them and to say that our prayers and our thoughts are with them in this very difficult circumstance.
Eastern Caribbean islands with citizenship by investment programs are moving to harmonize the system to, among other things, strengthen its integrity. The word from Prime Minister Skerrit is that heads of government for Grenada, Dominica, Antigua, St. Kitts and St. Lucia are to meet soon to advance that plan.
So we'll be meeting very soon to discuss this and to put the framework in place towards achieving this. Some work, in fact, has been done already. And the idea now is to meet to take the definitive decision and to set a timetable towards achieving this. So the idea is St. Kitts, Dominica, Antigua, St. Lucia, Grenada. The idea is for all of us to have the same regulations and the same legislation dealing with CBI programs.
Dominica's CBI program boasts of being among the longest running, with a key advantage being that there is no residency requirement before or after citizenship is granted. It has also come under scrutiny, most recently in a CBS 60 Minutes episode, which debuted in January, with concerns that the background checks on applicants for citizenship was not thorough. The due diligence process for Dominica is conducted by 4 firms regionally and internationally, including an agency in the United States and United Kingdom. Prime Minister Skerrit admits harmonizing the OECS programs can strengthen their integrity.
Well, I just want to say, though, that it is a view of Dominica that all of these countries have very robust due diligence processes in place. You understand? But we believe that one of the ways to enhance the programs and the overall integrity of the programs is to have the standardized regulations and structures in place, and which Dominica fully supports.
It's not what you might expect 2 years after Tropical Storm Erika, but some of the residents who have moved back to Petit-Savan say they would like to see more of their friends and relatives join them. Julian Morris has that story.
We were told that there were quite a number of Petit-Savan residents who have returned to the village since the evacuation 2 years ago. No one could confirm the figures as to how many were actually there. Following the 2015 disaster, Helena Antoine was evacuated and lived in Roseau with her daughter. In fact, she lost 5 children in that disaster. She returned to Petit-Savan in April.
I always tell my children I'll come back at my home. It was a little fishy, a little bit, but at that I was feeling so uncomfortable. Every day I have to be crying. Them I don't know. I cannot eat a good piece of meal. I was just feeling as if I am not happy enough. I'm not happy. So I said, when I tell my children, I say I go back, I'm not coming back to Roseau. I go back at my home, where I work hard, where I do all my... There I born, there I raised. I never lived there and go anywhere. The only way I lived there, I go to Antigua for only 2 weeks, and I went to America for 6 months and by my grandchildren, and I come back, and I never leave my village up till today. That's where I work, that's where I make all my means and everything. And if I not come back, my house will drop down already. I cannot leave it and go where I don't have a liberty. I am got a free up. I just cannot even explain. Because my son that died, he's the one who put that in my head. He tell me, Mama, go back at your home. Go and relax yourself at your home. Come out in that misery you are in town. And I'm telling you, I follow my instinct and I come back at my home. There is no way I live in my place and go anywhere.
Antoine says living in Roseau was beginning to affect her health, but all that changed when she returned home.
I was going down. The memory was there. I was always have them in my mind, you know, and from the time I come back here, and I went to where he buried, I went where the children lose, the family lose. From that time, I just get healed up till today. The memory coming back, you know, yes, but not as much as I had it. Yes. So I am feeling happy, I am comfortable, I am got no complaint.
She says a few of her elderly friends have also returned to Petit-Savan and she is able to visit them. She would like to see more of her neighbors return.
Everything's abundant. Well, after you work so hard, now for everything to be abundant, what are you going to live on? The bay leaf, the bay oil, that's what was living on Petit-Savan. So what are we going to do now? When we leave all our properties, everything. Is government going to still supply us 1 meal? I don't think so. When you get in the house in Bellevue, he's not going to supply meals for you again. He will not. You have to go and work.
Antoine says she would have loved to attend some kind of anniversary service in Petit-Savan on Sunday.
We have 4 churches in Petit-Savan that remain. One there, one Daro. None opening. Not one, nobody coming and open to make a little service, a little worship. And to say we never come back and have a good time to worship God and thank God for what He done for us in the village. We had need a nice vigil, like Sunday, we had need a nice service and a nice vigil in the community. Let God, give God the glory and the thanks. Nothing at all. It was so painful for me. It was so hurtful for me. I cried for the whole day.
We met Lawrence Fontaine in the Daru area. He lives with a relative but says he would like assistance to build his own home in Petit Savan.
It's not easy, but I'm just trying to bear with it because I know nothing does in life just changes.
But you decided to come back here, so...
I didn't really decide to come back here, but I had to come back here because I hadn't got a choice because of circumstances.
Circumstances like what?
Job-wise, money-wise, and so on.
Not everyone is a permanent resident in Petit Savan. Crescent Antoine goes back and forth. She says she would stay permanently if there was electricity.
To me, nothing has changed.
But your shop is open?
Yeah, my brother runs looking to keep the time going because he lost everything he had. His shop, his house, everything. The only thing he saved was the pants that was on him and the shirt. He was living on the other side there, on the road. See how you pass on a little bridge coming there? Around there he was. So he lost everything. So I come up to give him a little help now and then. Because I love my brother.
How often you come up? Every week? Or?
Oh yeah, sometimes I spend 2 weeks before I go back to town.
Retired teacher Alan Moise says he will not leave Petit Savan even if government has built him a house at Wall House.
Repair the place, do what you can do, but don't waste money. If you cannot do it all, but at least do something of it. You cannot shut down Petit Savan, you can shut down, no. When they should open the road for people. And open the Dalis road too. No rat hole haven't got one road. Government have to fix the road. And not in Savan alone. Fix the road from join back the road right to Dalis. Pebush haven't got nothing government cannot fix. Open the road nice. Give it what it need. Make drains. You watch those parties that people are working like slaves there every time. On Sundays they working and do things to patch up the road, patch up, you know. But that is not fixing the road. The drains are still there, water still coming down in it and stuff like that. And there are some slides over there. People have to struggle to go there through. Pass my Michael there. And they can fix it up. This other just pay the same, a little bobcat can push that stuff away. It was a very good idea to evacuate everybody. Because you leave some behind, something happened, they start blaming everybody. You can blame God yourself. Celle moun pas blame ko yo savent. La plus grande partie. Depuis on t'a moun blame ça OK, on scapegoat, tu comprends? Person pas ça blame. Nobody has seen something of that magnitude and nobody has a blueprint to how to deal with it. So I think they did, government did, everybody who could help did what they could at the time. 1 year run. Nous, en second year fini encore. Belgique a développé. Petit Savan, même côté ça.
When it comes to landmarks in Petit Savan, many of them are covered by vegetation. It's hard to believe that this is where the distillery once stood. And it's worth noting that government has been paying for the accommodation of displaced Savan residents while building them a new community in Belleville-Chopin. In Petit Savan, this is Julian Morris reporting for Channel 5 News.
You're watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, a local farmer has some advice for Dominica on its cocoa crop. Stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. Controversy continues to rock the La Plaine-La Ronde Village Council as a majority vote has sought to unseat Jason Fontaine as a councillor. Local Government Commissioner John Fontaine told Channel 5 News on Tuesday that action was taken at a meeting last week to have Jason Fontaine removed. The local government commissioner stopped short of disclosing the reasons for the decision and any other details of the meeting. In January, Jason Fontaine spoke to Channel 5 News to respond to claims that he was ineligible to sit on the council because of his criminal record, one that included fraud and theft offenses. Fontaine, who got the second highest votes in the January village council elections, said he was a changed man. Meantime, chairman of the council, Kevin Bato, said while the council has voted against Jason Fontaine, he is yet to be served. 7 months into the election of a new council, challenges are plaguing the reign of Bato.
It's been one with a lot of challenges. When I took up the position, well, it was my aim to serve my community. You know, the Bible says, to whom much is given, much is expected. So with that premise, I thought that, well, I know that I have been given much, so it was my time to serve my community. And that is what I plan to do.
A plan that has not been going to Bato's expectations. He says the current situation with Fontaine and differences among councillors are hindering a plan of action for the community. What has been going on in terms of you fulfilling that vision?
Well, tell you the truth, not very much. Because whenever we meet to discuss and to bring our issues on the table and to bring our plan forward, there seem to be a lot of disagreements and contentions.
Do you feel that it is so insurmountable that things cannot be ironed out?
Oh yes, things can be ironed out. At our meetings, there need to be respect for councillors, first of all. Once that is achieved, I think, we can move forward.
The other councillors are Ella Loda, Urana Joseph, Rose Blaise, Veronica Allen, Mello James, and Asher Larond.
We have a lot of work to do. Because the people who put us here, they depend on us to do what is right. And we are accountable to them to do what is right. Pretty soon we will be putting something in place to present to the people to make them know that we are not asleep, but we are thinking and we are working on their behalf.
The previous Laplin-Larond Village Council made history in November after it was dissolved due to what Minister of Social Services Catherine Daniel said was differences among councillors. As a result, the chairperson at the time, Rose Blaise, did not complete her 4-year term. The Builders and Contractors Association of Dominica, or BCAD, is warning there is a serious shortage of skills in the local construction sector. President of the association, Anthony Libla, says part of the problem is due to migration, but he is again registering concerns that government seems to facilitate little to no skills upgrade in the sector. In April 2016, 45 construction workers and 15 assessors were certified under CXC's Prior Learning Assessment and Recognition CVQ Certification Pilot Project. This project was funded by the Caribbean Development Bank and undertaken by the Joint Consultative Committee on the Construction Sector and BCAD with support from the Dominica Coalition of Service Industries.
The learning under this project, compiled by the project team, has been available to the Ministry of Education and the Tibet Council. However, more than 2 years after, there has been no traction or any significant ongoing skills upgrade and certification of existing employees. Currently, there is an acute shortage of skills, not only in the local construction sector, but as the manufacturers told you, also in the manufacturing sector. And part of it is due to migration.
Libla says the association is interested in seeing the re-establishment of secondary school and tertiary level skills training of artisans and foremen with certification under the Caribbean Vocational Qualification System. BCAD would also like to see the provision of government projects as CVQ-related training and assessment platforms. And one local farmer believes Dominica should make the most of its cocoa crop. Stuart Paris of Marigot is among 2 Dominican farmers whose cocoa samples have been selected among the top 50 from around the world for the International Cocoa Award. Paris, along with Dorina Mason of Bataka, have been invited to participate in the upcoming Cocoa of Excellence program, expected to take place in Paris, France in October. According to the Dominica Export and Import Agency, 5 kilogram samples each of dried cocoa beans were collected from 2 farmers and 1 estate, namely Shillingford Estate at Bartley. Dominica is among 9 countries around the world that produces fine flavor cocoa, and 5 of these countries are in the Caribbean.
It says something about Dominica. Dominica must have something that we should be paying attention to a lot more and should be taking advantage of and exploiting. So for a little island like Dominica to compete with all the heavyweight cocoa producers and growers around the world, 40 countries from around the world, and to place twice in the top 50 is quite an accomplishment, and I think is something that the private sector and public sector and the farming community of Dominica should pay attention to.
Paris says it is significant that Dominica submitted 3 samples and secured 2 places among the top 50 samples from around the world, while more developed cocoa-producing countries like Trinidad submitted 7 samples and secured 2 places in the top 50. Paris plans to expand his cocoa production.
My goals are that right now we're farming over 4 acres of cocoa, and between now and the next 18 months, we really want to have about 10 acres under cultivation. Our ultimate aim is to ensure that we can produce a minimum of 50,000 pounds of dry cocoa beans each year.
That's news. Next up, your sports highlights with Kenny Williams.
First up in sports, an undefeated century from Shy Hope was what the Windies needed to push them to the finish line to claim a 5-wicket win against England on Tuesday. Resuming on 5 without loss, the Windies finished the final day of the second test on 322 for 5. Hope played to a patient 118 not out, with Craig Brathwaite out on 95. Jermaine Blackwood assisted with 41 and Ruston Chase 30. Moeen Ali picked up 2 wickets for 76 runs for England. The final scores from that encounter: England 258 and 490 for 8 declared, West Indies 427 and 322 for 5. With this win, the series is now tied 1-1. The third test is carded for Lords in England on Thursday, September 7. Next up, President of Dominica Olympic Committee, Billy Doctrove, says a number of disturbing issues have surfaced during the body's first 100 days in office. Among them is an over $60,000 trip that Doctrove believed wasn't worth it.
We found out a lot of waste within the Olympic Committee, Dominica Olympic Committee, a lot of waste. And one of the incidents that I was really displeased about was when I recognized that, you know, we have the Commonwealth Games in Australia next year. And last year, we had 2 members of our executive, 2 members of the executive accept an invitation to go to Australia for an open day, 3 days, just to observe.
The invitation was sent out to all Olympic committees in the Caribbean. However, only 3 accepted, since respective bodies would have to meet the cost. He further explained that during the first 100 days, the Pan American Sports Organization, PASO, threatened to withhold funding from the Dominica Olympic Committee. PASO is an international organization which represents the 41 national Olympic committees, including the DOC.
A report which was submitted by the previous administration to the Olympic Committee, PASO, was sent back to the Dominica Olympic Committee, whereby some funds were given, provided to the Dominica Olympic Committee. Report was sent up, but it was basically rejected by the International Olympic Committee and PASO. And then a letter followed saying that if we do not account for those funds adequately and properly, we would not be receiving additional funds from the Olympic Committee and PASO.
Since then, the DOC had to do damage control to address the matter. Meantime, Dr. says the committee may need the assistance of a chief executive officer at some point in the future.
And one of the areas that we're really interested in going down is to hire a CEO of the Dominican Olympic Committee. The Dominican Olympic Committee, the Olympic movement is huge. And for us to maximize the benefits of our own efforts, we need to be in a position to access all those funds that are out there available to us. But it's a very time-consuming job, and you need somebody there almost full-time.
On the football scene, captain of Central Cooperative Credit Union Dublin Football Club, Euclid Bertrand, says his team is rebuilding this season. Recently, the Dublin team has been having increased members going on outside duties, one of the latest being national goalkeeper Glenson Prince.
Our players are good players and we will miss them, of course, but our plan is to always have a new set of players coming in through our system and then going. So actually we want more players to be going away. So the more we can develop and have a good concrete base of players, we will do better in the future, I think.
In related sports, West Coast Vets maintained the lead at the top of the points table in the Veterans Crew Masters tournament with a 2-all draw against Saturday Ballers recently. The other win came from Harlem Vets.
On Sunday, Harlem Vets got its first 3 points by defeating Jade 1-0. The goal came from the boots of Edgar Berridge. MVPs for the game for Jade was Bernard Mills, and for Harlem, Derwin Francis. On Friday, West Coast Vets came from 2 goals down to equalize with Saturday Ballers and maintain the lead in the Masters tournament. For Saturday Ballers, Alexis George scored both goals, while for West Coast Vets, Shane Marshall and David Isles scored goals. MVPs for the game were Earl Christopher for West Coast Vets and Jason Timothy for Saturday Ballers.
Sports continues with volleyball, where Prison Services, Domlec and Scotia were victorious in the Dominica Amateur Volleyball Association's recent Business League games. On Sunday, Prison Services had total dominance in their match to defeat N2N 2-0. Team Scotia, looking to take the lead in the Battle of the Banks, won the first set against RCB Lions 25-13 and restricted their opponent to under 10 in set 2 to win the game 2-0. On Saturday, Prison Services had a competitive game against Police to take the game by the arm in a 2-0 victory. Set scores were 26-24 and 25-21, with an impressive comeback of over 10 points in set 2. Meantime, Domlec used their power to deny the NEP workers a chance by winning their encounter 2-0, scores 25-17 and 25-20. Finally, in sports, football fans can look forward to a new show on Mappin starting Monday, September 4, featuring the Premier League. Join us on Channel 5 from 7 to 7:45 p.m. as we provide post-game analysis and engage football enthusiasts on the show. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us next time.
Time now for your weather update.
Good evening. Welcome to the weather report and forecast. I'm Viola Pascal. The infrared satellite imagery showed that a line of multi-layered clouds moved across the island chain during today. To the southeast of the area, we have an area of convective clouds that is expected to affect mainly the southern portion of the island chain during tonight and tomorrow. The visible satellite imagery showed that Dominica experienced generally partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy skies throughout most of today. Radar imagery indicated a few scattered showers across most of the island chain. For tonight, expect Partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy skies with a few scattered showers. Similar conditions can be expected tomorrow. For the marine forecast, seas are expected to be slight to moderate, with waves peaking near 5 feet. Over the next 3 days, a weak high-pressure system is expected to linger across the island. Expect partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy skies with a few scattered showers and some warm temperatures of 33 degrees Celsius or 91 degrees Fahrenheit. A tropical wave is expected to approach the area by late Friday. Across the Caribbean, expect generally cloudy skies with showers and thunderstorm activity mainly across the southern portion of the area and a few scattered showers across the northern portion of the island chain. For the international cities forecast, expect partly cloudy skies in New York, clear skies in Miami and Beijing, overcast skies with showers in London, and thunder showers in Caracas. The sun will rise at 5:52 a.m. and set at 6:19 p.m. For further information, call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit the website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing. Do have a good evening.
To end the news, the headlines again. Prime Minister scurried to visit Dominicans in Houston affected by Hurricane Harvey. Cabinet Secretary Steve Farrell addresses concerns surrounding the health status of Honorable Ian Douglas and a controversial move to remove Jason Fontaine from the Laplin-Laron Village Council. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Idona John Baptist, and to all our viewers around the world, thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.